That's what I get for calling my album Ready for Love.
I know, right? Because these guys are ready for love. I mean, you got the
the recording. We're recording, sir. The red button has started.
Hey, welcome to Three Black Guys with the Mic. Sia Amun. Did I say that right?
Yes, Sia
Sia
Amun.
Amun is with a singer, writer, songwriter, reality TV star from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. She's worked with Trey Songz, uh, Lady Gaga, Keisha Cole. You want me to keep going? And my favorite, I did not know this, but you also worked with Ziggy Marley, who is one of my favorite artists in the entire world. Lamont's Girl, Mary J. Blige. She got a brand new single coming out called Ready for Love, May 23rd, from her album, Your Favorite Girl, Sia Amun. Thank you so very much for joining us. We first got to ask, how are you, doing with this whole quarantine time? Like, how are you been spending your time?
I've actually been like really enjoying it. I'm like a homebody anyway, so I love the fact that I don't have to like make up an excuse to like get out or go somewhere. It's like everybody's on lockdown, nothing's happening, so I don't feel pressured to like do anything. But I've just been really taking this time to just really just dive into myself wholeheartedly and just like focus on everything self-related that I haven't been focusing on. And thanks to the quarantine, the album got done. It's the album is actually Ready for Love, and the new single coming out is Weekend.
Sweet. So
Yeah.
let me just kind of go back a little bit, because your dad is royalty in the music business. And how was it growing up, in being in a R&B household, being in a household with R&B, an R&B legend, basically? How was that growing up, and how did you get into the music business?
So I didn't live with my dad until I turned 16. But of course, like throughout my life, I would go and visit, and just seeing him, like I've always wanted to sing. I started singing when I was 4, and of course back then he was just dad, so it never really registered to me what exactly his job was. I just knew that what he was doing resonated with my spirit and what I felt inside and wanted to do. And it just allowed me to see and realize that it's not just a dream, it's not just a desire that you have, that it's actually something that's possible and attainable. So that's where the drive really, really came from. But when I was 16, I called him, and I was just like, hey, Dad, I had got into it with my mom. My mom put me out, and I called him and I said, Dad, after this semester of school, I really want to take music serious. I really want to move out there and just like really do it. And so that's what happened. And here I am all these years later.
Which one do you like more? Do you like the writing part of it, or do you like the singing part of it?
It's kind of hand in hand. It's hand in hand. I sing all the time. Like literally, I used to get on everybody's nerves. They like, shut up, like still going. And then the writing, I didn't really start writing until I moved with my dad, and he just really put it in my head that if I really wanted to be an artist, I needed to start writing. He's like, that's how you're gonna get your foot in there. That's how you even grasp the concept of what being an artist is and fully creating. So I started writing for real when I was about like 15, 16.
Do you think that, so the writing was like your entry point and it led to so much more for you to actually break out as an artist? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so what happened was that when I moved with my dad, we kind of like jumped right into it immediately. And I thought, like, I grew up with making a band, so I might have to go inside, but I grew up watching Making a Band, and I thought in my mind, like, I had to go through some crazy, like, artist development,
You got to walk to Juniors and get some cheesecake.
Yeah,
Or in your case, you have to walk to
Well, she
Roscoe's.
couldn't go to
I gotta
Junior's
run
out
up
west. She would have
mountains.
to go to Pinky's or something. You know what
But
I
you-
mean?
but
Get the
you-
hot
I
dog.
said Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Oh, okay, I'll go to Roscoe's. We can do that.
But so you know who the top 5 rhymers is Dylon, and Dylon, right?
Oh, Maynard.
So
Can
when
we
I
wait till we
got,
get to the end? I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Maynard, can we wait till we get to the end before we start that, please?
You were out here talking about juniors. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We got company, Lamont.
so when I got with him, literally like 2 weeks later, he's like, so you're singing at the Staples Center for the Sparks game. And that was like the start. We were like in the studio after that. We were working on music. We had writers coming through. It was just like crazy that everything that I grew up seeing him do, up at the Underdogs and just like writing was like happening for me. So it was like so crazy. And then he found out I had a boyfriend. And when he found out that I had a boyfriend, it was like all stops, breaks on everything. He was just like, like I'm trying to build a career. You trying to be smiling in some nigga face. And it was over from there.
I'm sorry. Hold up. So did Daddy say it just like that? Because what we haven't done is we haven't told everybody who Dad is, who this royalty is. But we'll get to that in a minute. I think we're going to keep it a little secret till later.
Okay.
But did Dad really say it like that?
He said it exactly like that. Like, I've been fortunate to have parents who do not sugarcoat anything. They talk to me and they just talk any kind of way and keep it 100. And I appreciate it. But he said it just like that. He's like, you trying to, like, it just doesn't match. So instead of me getting my emotions all caught up, let you do your thing and grow up as a young woman and explore. And we don't have to mix the daddy-daughter with business. And it broke my heart at the time. I didn't realize what it was actually doing for me, but it actually put me in a position to really skyrocket and dive into who Sia, to who I am. And I don't think that it could have happened any other way.
So let me ask you this about the franchise. Am I saying it correctly, Spud, when we talk about the Love and Hip Hop thing? Because we went back. Now we're at the Staples Center. We're singing, thousands and thousands of people. Mm-hmm. How did this Love and Hip Hop thing come about? And why did you choose that platform to showcase your art? And, I say it like that because you as an artist, as an actress, as a singer, all of that is part of your art. How and why did you choose that platform?
So it's interesting because I didn't actually choose the platform. The platform, how are you feeling? In a sense, I was living in Atlanta, and my best friend Lyrica is on the show, and she was going through a lot of really rough time. And she had been calling me, over the course of a couple weeks, just saying how she felt like she really needed to take a break. She really wanted to come out and visit and just clear her mind. And I didn't believe she was going to do it, but she actually did. She booked a flight. She came to Atlanta. She stayed with me for about 2 weeks, maybe 3, going on 3 weeks. And in the course of her being there, we just got in the studio. We started working on her new album that's coming out. We, I was taking her around Atlanta. Her publicists and publishers are there. So the show was getting ready to start filming again. And so they reached out to her and they're just like, yo, we need you back in LA. Why are you in Atlanta? Who are you in Atlanta with? Who's this girl? What is all of this? Like, they really wanted to know. And that's been my best friend for 10 years now. So that's really how I got on the show. It was just like.
So give me the real, because me and my wife debate this all the time. Okay. Is the show fake or is it not fake? Because my wife is like, it's real.
She gonna mess around and violate some contracts.
Is the show real or is it not? Because neither one of these guys like Mona Scott, which I love. But I'm just saying, is the show fake or not?
No, the show definitely is real. I can't speak for everybody that's on the show and their storylines. I do believe that people make up. I mean, that happened on the season when I was on. Like, people just make up shit. I mean, I'm so sorry. People just make up stuff, No.
We say shit here all the time. Shit is good. Shit.
Okay,
shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
But there are people who make up stories, to get on and have time. But as far as the my case in the story that I'm a part of is definitely real. And that's why people always ask me, like, what was it like shooting the show? And honestly, it didn't feel like I was even shooting a reality show because I'm really there with my best friend, like dealing with all the shit that she's going through. So it's like before the cameras come, I'm there counseling her, talking to her, and just trying to make sure she's good. When the cameras come, we're still doing the same thing. When the cameras leave, we're still doing the same thing. I'm helping her move. We're going through all this stuff. So throughout the process, it never ended for me. So it wasn't like I was shooting a reality show. I actually didn't feel like I was a part of the show until the reunion.
So will you be back to throw pillows on the next season if there is a next season? I'm just asking if you go back pillows, but
see, you guys weren't there, and the way they edit stuff, it made it look like I was just throwing pillows and aggressive for no reason. But before this segment had even started, like as soon as I had walked out on the stage, the young lady that I was having the confrontation with, she totally charged at me before this segment even started filming and everything. So that's where that whole aggression and me throwing the pillow even came from. Just to clarify and clear that up, it wasn't like I was just sitting there angry and but honestly, I don't know what's going on with season 3. I really don't want to tell too much. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that.
I mean, are you guys going to have any sort of release date with the whole quarantine, or is it just
they haven't even been able to start filming. Soon as filming was supposed to start, which was in the end of February, top of March, we got closed down. So I don't know what's happening. We'll just have to see.
Maynard played that clip of you, and I just realized, because I saw that clip, because I'm like a reality show fan. And you had on the single, as why you shake your head? I am a reality. I'm a mindless TV person, but you had on the shirt, and I didn't even realize that was a single. And I just put 2 and 2 together on that.
So, yeah, I have my own merch line. I don't know if you guys can.
Yeah, I went onto the website. I was like, man, I need to order me a sweatsuit. Maybe when you get some quarantine prices.
You gotta get one. All of you guys. What?
Yeah, you gotta get some quarantine prices though.
So can we talk about the new music that?
Please.
Because at the end of the day, all of this is great, but I need to talk about this music.
That's what I'm talking about.
Can I ask this first though, Lamont? Before you ask that question, what kind of artist would you describe yourself as? Because when I listen to your music, I hear R&B, I hear some neo soul, I hear some Caribbean, vibes. Are you in a box, or is it just all over? Is it just more than one genre of music?
Honestly, I'm definitely not in a box. I create vibes, and I am a vibe. That's just how I describe it. But I mean, obviously R&B for sure. R&B, soul, music is just where my heart is at. It's just where I connect, the most. But I don't think that I'm in a box because I, just being a songwriter, I do everything. Like I could literally write pop, I could write country, I could rap, I can do so much. So I wouldn't consider me being in a box. But as far as like my music, I'm definitely like an indie R&B, soul, alternative R&B like artist.
Got it. Sweet. Go ahead, Lamont. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you stole my thunder because that's kind of where I was trying to go. But I guess, Maynard, I don't know where to go now.
I just want to just say we don't usually do anybody who has ever done reality show. Period. Okay. We just don't do that. And because we're just not a part of that lifestyle. Okay. But the reason why, I was like, why I like what you do is because you're one of the only artists that I have seen on the platform to actually come out with music. Most of those artists don't really have music. And that's not a dig. Yeah. It's just, they say they're in the business, but they're not really in the business. Yeah. And looking at your EPK, looking at your music, your history, your songwriting, you're like really in the music business. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's important for people to understand because a lot of, especially, younger girls have this idea that, reality TV, and again, this is not a dig, that reality TV is about one thing, when it really is not. I mean, you know,
Right.
there's a lot of people out there who are saying that they're in the music business and that they've done all of these things, but you look at their track record and nothing is there.
Yeah.
So
And that's actually one of the reasons why I was a little hesitant to do the show, because obviously the reputation that it has, and it's literally the complete opposite of everything that I represent as far as just my spirit, you know? But I love the fact that I was able to be on the show and be my authentic self, literally as my best friend's best friend. I didn't have to like put on and do a whole bunch of extra stuff. Like it literally was me, and that's what I loved about it, and that's why it worked out, I think, in my favor without me being a typical reality. Like my goal is not to be a love and hip hop star. That's definitely not the goal.
So knowing that,
But
you know,
Lyrica has music coming out. I wanted to say that really fast because
I got to give props to Lyrica too, because she's for real too.
I have a couple records that I wrote on her project, so I'm super excited about that. So you guys got to check that out too.
so in this time with the quarantine, and the most popular thing out is like right now is this Instagram versus. What if there was a versus of somebody you admire, but you really want to go head to head with, who would that be for you?
For me to go head and head with?
Keisha Cole. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna answer this, and then I want to get back to the album because I feel like we kind of skipped over the music portion.
There you go. There she goes. That's that training right there. There you go. I like that. There you go. Come on, baby. Give it to him.
Who would I go against? I'm not really sure. I get compared a lot to, I don't even want to say compared, but I'm put in the same category as her, Summer Walker, Janae Aiko, SZA. Like we're all in the same boat together. So maybe one of them.
Okay. And so what were the influences for the album? As we get back to that, tell us a little bit more about the album and what influences came to mind when you were putting this together.
Okay. So the album is called Ready for Love, and I chose that title because I feel like I'm at a point in my life now where I'm just stepping into a phase of being in alignment and just ready to receive and live abundantly. And that's what love represents to me. So that's why I chose the title. But what I did for the record, and obviously I have been single for a long time. So not only is that, that's not only what it's about. I really genuinely feel like I am ready to be loved and to give love. It's just where I'm at in my life. So because I'm not in a relationship and I don't have somebody there to sing about and write these songs about, what I did was I just imagined like, okay, your words are powerful. So you have to be careful. If I'm constantly singing about niggas ain't this or run away, I don't want to talk to you, I'm single, then I'll manifest more and more of that in my life. So because I feel like I'm ready for this next step in my life, I wanted to write songs about that to manifest that. So I imagine like if I had the perfect dude here that I would just love and would just like be crazy about, like what would I say to him? And so that's literally where the perception for all the songs came from, was just like having this imaginary guy there and how I would feel if he was in front of me and what I would say to him.
Are you working with anybody on the album?
Yeah, shout out to my boy Rodney from VA. Rodney is a producer that helped me executive produce the album. We stayed up so many hours just till 6 a.m, 7 a.m, just trying to like get it all finalized. But I collaborated with a few different writers. Producers. We got Rodney and Will. I have Zach. He's a musician. He's a part of Justin Bieber's band. I didn't work with any like big producers on purpose, like super big with like a name. I did that intentionally. I met a couple producers out in Atlanta when I was living there that got a couple records on the project. And let me see, that's really it. It's only
no singers? You're not working with Lyrica? Lyrica doesn't have anything on the album? Or
no, I wrote the album 100%. That was important to me. I started out in a writing duo. Once I, started getting placements and stuff, I was a part of a writing duo. And until honestly, I moved to Atlanta at the end of 2017, that's when I really started recording myself and just stepping into that confidence of like, okay, I don't need somebody else there. I don't have to depend on what somebody else thinks. Let me just give my own thoughts out. Let me just say how I really feel, because nobody can express or tell these stories the way that I can. So yeah, that's how it all came about. I chose the 23rd because that's my grandma's birthday. She raised me. She passed away in 2015. And this was like my gift to her and to myself. I'm like, the only thing I want to do is record an album top to bottom, write every single song, and put it out on the 23rd. If I could do that, then nothing else matters. And
so they won't. You saying want me no more albums after this?
No, for sure. I'm saying like, people always ask me like, so what do you see the success of this being, or what does the success of Sia look like after this album? And for me, it's about the process and the journey of it all. And the fact that I said I was going to get something done, and I set out to finish this album and complete it by a certain time, have it out by a certain time. For that to be happening it's already a success. It's already what it is. And so from here, it's like, it's out of my hands. Like, I did my part, so the rest is up to God. Definitely more music.
So let me ask you this. We got to clear up a couple of things really quickly, because I know Maynard's going to say I'm running tight on time. But for one, so we got that on the 23rd. How do you want people to consume the music? Where do you want them to find it? I want you to tell that's number one. We have to get into your top 5. So Maynard, I don't know if you want me to do that, or Spud, you want me to do it, or who does it?
You've already done it.
Okay. And then third, we went through this whole discussion, but we never found out who Dad was.
Okay.
And who Dad was, and said, who is that nigga? So we got to get to that. But again, the release date on the project is May 23rd, correct?
May 23rd, yes.
So we want to just direct everyone where to go check you out. Are you a Spotify person? Are you an Apple Music person? You want to get out all your socials, or how do you want to do it?
So you guys it's going to be available everywhere, of course. I'm an Apple Music girl. I used to be Spotify, but they don't pay songwriters, so I have a personal thing with Spotify right now. So I'm an Apple Music girl, but it will be streaming on Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, Amazon Music, like literally everywhere. It's going to be out. You can also go to www.siaamun.com, and my whole catalog, everything is on there. So yeah, you can follow me at Sia Amun on everything.
Okay, cool. So let's get into this top 5. This is something that we ask everybody. Okay. And I'm sure Maynard and Spud will back me up. We're going to broaden it up a little bit we normally need to know who your top 5 MCs. But since you are part of R&B royalty, if you want to expand it a little bit and throw some R&B in there to take the place.
Just do only R&B. Who's the top 5 R&B artists?
You might want to mix it up.
And this is all time. This is all time.
It's got to be all time.
All time.
And if Dad is not in the list,
that's a problem.
Feeling Dad is.
If he's not on the list, we're going to send this right to him. We're going to send this interview right to him.
But y'all can't pressure my top 5.
Oh!
Y'all can't influence my top 5. My dad, if we're doing all time, then of course my dad has to be in there, because he was the first influence. He was the first introduction to music, him and my grandma. So definitely hands down my dad's group. India Ari is one of my, she raised me. Brandy raised me and Brandy taught me how to sing, for real. Beyonce and Whitney Houston. Whoa. But there's so many. But Whitney Houston.
No rap.
Erykah Badu. I just want to tell everybody.
Yeah, get something off, Lamont.
I can't do mine.
She's breaking the rules. She's at 6 already.
It's too many that are up in the same level that I love equally, that have influenced and just been a part of my development.
I'm glad to hear you say India Ari. I think that's a phenomenal pick. I always have been a big fan of India Ari, and Yeah, there's a lot of for a woman your age. It's a little bit of a gap between you guys, but it just shows the kind of growth. And I see your spirit come through in this interview, and I can see. I can see where that connection comes from. Lamont also wanted to. We talked again and again about the dad. Lamont wants to know.
Tell everybody who Dad is.
So my dad is the lead singer of one of the best groups to ever do it ever. He's a lead singer of a group called Troop. They had some really, really big hits.
Got a lot of girls off of that group.
Spread My Wings.
Spread My Wings.
All I do is think of you.
I'm Not Suit. So many. All I do is think of you.
Absolutely.
That's my song.
Yeah, that's it. Before we let you go, Sia, can you tell everyone what the whole vibe is behind the intro? I know that you're the creator of like the intro. What is that all about?
So Intro is a platform that I created for artists like myself, independent artists. Just for everybody that's tuning in, I'm an independent artist. I literally do everything solo dolo, just me and my team. And it's not easy. It's so hard. And I found myself having so many like breakdowns and just feeling like giving up so many times. But I was fortunate to have someone like my dad there that I could talk to, that has advice, that's been through exactly what I'm feeling. So I just was like, I want to start something where I open the space for people to have this same exact thing that I have, which is an outlet, and to feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Like, we're a family, we all do the same thing. So it's just a platform where I'm bridging the gap between spirituality and creativity. I feature one artist, one writer, one producer that I feel have had like extraordinary stories. Some of the people that I feature, like my boy, Derek Milano, I met him in Atlanta. He literally was just a writer, just like me, no placements. I had more placements than him. He had just signed his publishing deal, and now he has every #1 song out. He has the Savage remix with Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce, and I mean, so many songs. He's like an A&R now, and only in the span of like 8 months. So I feature people like him to tell their stories and to just share advice and to talk to people. My dad speaks at everyone. It's like kind of me and my dad do it together. And I pick topics to talk about, like having trust, resistance, how to get from out of your own way. It's pretty dope.
That is dope.
Thank you. Yeah, that is dope. And a good way to be able to pay it forward, to other artists. What is it more important for you to be independent or to sign to a label?
I've always been told if I didn't have to sign anything and I could be like a Diane Warren, own all my own publishing, and if I could do that without being too prideful, then to do that. So I've done my best to stick to that. I put my pride aside. If I have to, I'll go get a day job, whatever the case. Like I haven't signed a deal, but if something comes up that just makes sense for the journey and what I'm trying to do, if I get an offer that I feel is going to really help me elevate and take my career to where I want to go, I'll definitely do it for sure. I'm not opposed, but I do like being independent. I feel like I have too much to say. I probably would get on the label's nerves.
Right. Sia, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing, amazing interview. We interview people all the time, and this was definitely not what they thought it was going to be.
No.
They thought that you were going to be some hoochie mama coming up.
No, nobody thought that.
So what do we think it was going to be? But I'm confused. What was it supposed to be?
You thought that she was going to be doing all this and all of this and all of that. And that's what they thought you were going to be doing. But we are so proud of you, and thank you so very much for giving us the opportunity. Congratulations for completing something. I feel this, my wife and I, did a movie last year, and that was the entire thing that I wanted to do, which was I didn't care how far it went. I didn't care how many people saw it or whatever. It was just my passion project that I was like, if I can do this, then I know that I can do anything. I'm not worried about anything. It is an accomplishment if I just do it and finish it. So that's a big accomplishment for you to be able to, complete something. And then not only that, be able to know that that is all you wanted, rather than if I don't got 50,000 streams, or if I don't get 500,000 streams, or if I don't knock Drake off of #1 list, you don't have that pressure. So that is amazing, and you have an amazing spirit. So thank you so very much. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. This was fun.
This was
Make
amazing.
sure you guys listen to the album. I'm definitely checking.
I'm a fan.
Yo,
the next time,
to most, the songs already.
Yo, so, you got a shirt for me. I'm a big fella, but can I get the Sia Amun? I can get that on your site.
Yes.
Yo, the next time you see me, I'm gonna have
we
that.
go all the way up to 4X. So.
Oh, we good. We good over here.
He needs a 5X.
No, he doesn't need 5X.
Yo,
have a great day. Thank you so very much. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.